On to the scores for the main slate on Sunday. The Bengals beat the Panthers 34-24 in the Andy Dalton revenge game. Didn't quite happen that way, though. The Colts beat the Steelers 27-24. The Bears beat the Rams 24-18. Thanks for the assist, fellas. The Broncos beat the Jets 10-9. That was an ugly, ugly game. I think Denver only had like 60 yards total.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, the Falcons survive against the Saints 26-24. The Vikings are able to hold on against the Packers 31-29. The Texans beat the Jaguars 24-20. The Buccaneers all over Tyler's Eagles 33-16. The Niners get the win big against the Patriots 30-13. The Commanders all over the Cardinals 42-14. The Chiefs beat the Chargers 17-10. The Raiders get the dub against Cleveland 20-16. For your primetime games this past week, the Cowboys beat the Giants 20-15 and God, that game still puts me to sleep now thinking about it. The Ravens over the Bills on Sunday Night Football 35-10, and it wasn't that close. And then on Monday Night Football right now, we have the Titans and the Dolphins. The Titans are up 6-0 last I checked about 2 minutes ago. And the Lions, it's 6-3 now? Okay. And the Lions are kicking a field goal right now. Oh, and it's through. So they're up 3-0 on the Seahawks. And 7-0. Sorry, that wasn't a field goal. That was a touchdown. That was the point after I just saw. So there we are. So there's your score update, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on those games as we go along. Let's talk Raiders first. You guys get the win 20-16 over Cleveland. That's your team, both of you, Daniel and Sam.
Yeah.
Go ahead and dive in.
Well, I'm extremely proud of them. I was nervous about going into the week just because of the lackluster performance from the previous week. No Devontae Adams, no Max Crosby. Your offensive line is beat up, but a lot of guys came together. Offensive line did. I thought it was an improvement from the previous week. Powers Johnson, I think, is going to be a guard of the future. He's just clearly a better offensive lineman option than most of the guys they got. Colton Miller, I thought, looked better, but he's still not the Colton Miller of prior years. I still think it's just due to not having a off season when he was dealing with his shoulder surgery and injury. I did see some things in offensively that I liked. Saw some things that I didn't like. The running game is still not where it needs to be. Zamir White just does not look like he fits in this offense. And it's surprising because last year he led the league in rushing from when he took over the starting position for the Raiders. I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive line and that they're going to force Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell to pass the ball. So they're taking everything away from the run game. But the run game to me is it's an attitude, it's a mindset. You still got to go and get yours. And Zamir White is, we see all the videos as Raider fans as a horse breeder. He's over here running around literally with his horses. This horse needs to get loose, and the offensive line needs to start helping him out a little bit more. But I did like seeing the defense stepped up on certain areas, certain plays where they absolutely needed to get a stop. They got a stop. A win's a win. It wasn't the most beautiful win. It wasn't against the best of opponents, but you beat a team that you're supposed to beat. That's the thing is you got the win against the team you're supposed to beat and keep yourself in it. It's another game where you have your own destiny within your hands, and they didn't screw it up. So they're 2-2. So you get through the first phase of the season at 2-2. And I think going into the year, the first quarter, I think Raider fans looked at the schedule and say, you got to go 2-2 at least. Unfortunately, 3-1 and 4-0 was an option, but you didn't get there. 2-2. You're still competitive. You're still in it. So good win. Good win. I'll turn it over to you, Daniel.
I knew last week was going to be a struggle because number one, change of the quarterback, from Bryce Young to Andy Dalton, and number two, Andy Dalton has never lost to the Raiders. I knew last week was going to be a rough one. And sure enough, it came to fruition. And if you remember, Antonio Pierce was talking about how, some people made business decisions, and we all found out who he was talking about. He was talking about Jack Jones.
Yep.
He sat Jack Jones for the first half, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But either way,
first quarter.
But either way, the defense, our secondary behind Jack and behind everybody else. And I mean, the fact that Snowden was the guy that clutched the game for us, like, what a great feeling. Yeah. What a great feeling for a guy in that situation. It's like, you make the squad, you might not see a lot of snaps because let's face it, this is Crosby's defensive line. Yeah. And the fact that you come up with a clutch stop on fourth down, like, it was beautiful to see our defense pull out the win for us, because we've talked about it in the past. This game is going to function. This team is going to flow dependent on if our quarterback can take care of the ball and if our defense can come up with big stops. Thankfully, our defense came up with a big stop on Sunday. But again, I still don't like what I see under center. Yeah. I need to see more from Gardner. And I understand he's a journeyman. He's a backup. He's not supposed to be a franchise quarterback, but I still need to see more. And I mean, credit to the Browns. They took away the one weapon that he wanted to go to, because he looked at Bowers many times out there, but he was just doubled up. Mm-hmm. They locked him up. They knew that he wanted to go to his security blanket, and they just couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you add a legit quarterback to this offense. There are pieces on this offense. And I think it's definitely a team that if you don't have an elite quarterback, it shows. I know the Jets lost, but the week before you saw Aaron Rodgers looking like Aaron Rodgers of old with the same exact team that Zach Wilson had. Yep. Andy Dalton, right, against the Raiders last week. That offense looked totally different with somebody who's capable, who can make the reads and all of that. And I think that's what the Raiders are missing is really a quarterback to execute this offense. I'm not thrilled with Luke Getsy and his offense. So,
I mean, that was supposed to be Cliff Kingsbury's job, but he jumped ship and went to Washington.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really know exactly what happened. I read that it was like a contract thing, and so I don't know. He's not here. Great win for the Raiders. Keep yourself relevant. If you stink, Cam Ward, baby.
Cam Ward, let's go.
Yeah, I would love to see him in silver and black next season. Vince, how do you feel about the 49ers, man?
You know what? Like last week I was talking about it's not quite panic time, but I know where the panic button is. I'm gonna forget about the panic button for a little bit this week. They handled the business in the end. It took a little bit to get going. At first, it was a couple of field goals. You had to get the pick six, an incredible pick six from Fred Warner, who's got to be the early front runner for defensive player of the year at this point. Just the way he extended, that's a video game interception that happened there, man. I don't know how the hell he did that. And then he got up and was able to, take it the other way for a touchdown. And then once that happened, the refs tried that like hell to keep the Niners from scoring a touchdown. But third time's the charm on that one drive. They had 2 touchdowns waved off due to penalties that were not penalties, very clearly not penalties. But anyway, it's okay. They handled business against an inferior team, and we're off and running. Brock looks great. He's playing just as well as he was last year. During the main part of the season. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. It's just these injuries because Fred Warner, I mean, we just talked about him, but he didn't play in the second half because I guess he tweaked his ankle a little bit, but he was ready to go back in apparently. But the coaches were like, you know what, we're up big. We don't need you to go back in. It sounds like he could have gone back in though if they needed him to. So that makes me feel confident about that part of it. Yeah. So, and then I guess Conley, the return man, got injured too. So these injuries keep piling up for the Niners. I mean, we're already down huge pieces. I'm glad we got Debo and George Kittle back, and Kittle played incredibly as well. Like he normally
that
does.
catch
Sometimes,
was crazy.
oh, that catch was wild, wasn't it? Yeah, but like the blocking too and everything that he provides as a tight end. The things that drive fantasy managers wild, because sometimes that's all he's gonna do. Some games, that's the game plan. But this time it wasn't. They were able to get him a tug. And then, So Jordan Mason was able to get his touchdown as well, and that helped me out in one of my chicken nugget leagues. So that was good. So yeah, overall I'm feeling all right. I just wish we weren't getting injured all the time, and the news keeps getting a little bit worse for the Niners because Christian McCaffrey, it just broke maybe about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, something like that he's now dealing with Achilles tendonitis in both legs. And so now they have no clue on when he's going to be back. When like the report on CMC before this was before the game, and it sounded like they were going to start ramping him up today on Monday. But obviously that's not happening now. So it's going to be Mason for the foreseeable future. And obviously Mason's not as good as CMC. Like, nobody's going to be saying that. Nobody with the right mind is going to say that. But pretty competent backup, man. And I'm feeling pretty fortunate that he was able to step up and perform as well as he has so far this season.
For sure. We didn't get to talk about it last week because it happened after, but the Brandon Ayuk situation with the shorts. Did you see this video?
Yeah. It's so weird. I don't even know what to think about it, man. If the team's not making any news about it, I'm just, you know what? I'm ready to move on. I had forgotten about the shorts actually, because we didn't have it in here and I had completely forgotten about it. And so, yeah, I'm going to just pretend like it didn't happen. Nothing to see here. Nope.
I guess
not important.
I don't think that's that much of a big deal. I think what's big deal is something from the offseason, the contract talk is carrying over. I think that's what this is really about. And, if you're going to get paid like a leader, you need to act like a leader. And that to me was just stupid that Brandon Ayuk even did that. It's not that big of a deal, but why even do it? So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I just, I'm glad that everybody kind of got distracted and forgot about that and have moved on to something else. Thanks CMC for your 2 wounded
CMC
legs
and a win is the best deodorant.
That's right. Yeah. But I do need
either loss. 49ers lose, Raiders lose. The sky is falling today. If you're 1-3, it's over. Sky's falling.
2-2, you can like reset a little bit. Your brain's like, okay, we're in the season now. Like took a couple of punches, you delivered a couple more. It's we're trading punches right now, and let's reset for the second quarter of the season.
Absolutely.